There's only one thing that we love more than eating food with chopsticks, and that's photography.
Hey, welcome to the Panoptic Chopstick Show, where there's only one thing that we love more than eating food with chopsticks, and that's photography.
All right. That's right. And it is wedding season.
Oh man, we're getting into the thick of it.
At the Chopstick Studios. Yes. Man, it is that time of year again.
It is. And in fact, during the next few shows, we are going to be talking about all things weddings.
Yes.
So, and really all things wedding photography, not just weddings, but we're going to be talking about, specifically today, engagement photos.
Yeah.
So and
yes,
we've got some photo news coming up at the end.
Yeah, so stick around for the very end because there's some exciting things that are happening
in the
maybe
world. A little scary, actually, too.
Yeah, in the world of photography.
I'm so scared.
So you said today we are going to really camp out on engagement stuff. Yes. So what does an engagement photo mean, anyways?
That is a great question. Yeah. So really, I think there's three different things. So it's kind of evolved or changed over the years, right? Okay. There are three different types of quote engagement shoots, right? So you had like a proposal shoot, and that was where the guy is down on his knee with the ring, and you're capturing the magic of the proposal.
And it's becoming bigger now because of things like Instagram. There's guys that they want to cover that part, not stage it. They want to actually
cover
have somebody
the event, right?
cover the event.
So I think the way it used to be done was that you staged it, right? Now it's like you are actually covering it live with the guys hiding in the bushes and taking the pictures.
It's great for us, social media, because everybody wants to one-up each other and have a better experience or something to share.
Woo! So chopsticks on the
flying everywhere.
So the second type is really the traditional engagement shoot, more probably of what you and I do most of the time. And that's where we're just creating those lovey-dovey pictures that they're going to be using for their website, their wedding website, or just sending out some invitations.
The newspaper.
Yeah, the newspaper. Yeah, like everybody's posting in the newspaper.
So, hey, in the comments below, I want to know: do you still have clients that post their picture in the newspaper?
You still have clients that read a newspaper?
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it's still a big thing in the pocket of America that you live in.
I know here on the West Coast, newspaper is dead.
It's dead, and I don't ever see wedding.
It's all about the gram.
But I don't read the newspaper.
You just don't read. So and then the third type is the save the date photo, right?
Yes.
So it's like
huge.
And that one usually involves props. So it's okay, here's my little chalkboard with May 23rd or whatever on it. But the reason why we're talking about this again is because wedding season is upon us, right? May and June, we are packed like with wedding. It's going crazy actually. With how much stuff we have to do. And that's the other thing. People don't realize that we are real photographers. We do work for a living too, taking pictures, so we don't just jabber all the time. But
that's right.
Wedding season is always a busy season for us. So we thought it'd be fun to share some stuff with you guys.
Yeah, so there's three types of photos like you just shared, but the question is, do you need to know how to do all three? Or do you need to specialize in all three? Or do you need to offer all three?
I don't think we can assume that the client wants all three.
Exactly.
Right? But I think you have to be ready to do all three. You have to be versed in how to do it.
Exactly. I actually have had lots of couples that have wanted all three. They wanted to stage the engagement. Mm-hmm. They needed pictures for their, announcements and all the things and all their social stuff. And then they want to do the save the date stuff. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with
that. And I think that can be done all in one session too, right? It's not like you have to plan 3 different outings with the couple, but it can be done together in a lot of cases.
So this is even more important. I dropped a chopstick.
Yes.
And if I pick it up, I want to point out the fact that it was your job to get sushi today. And I was thinking, okay, there's some salmon here, and there's some nice tuna here.
That looks good.
What the heck is this, like California rolls? It's like, you can eat those. Like, how far back to basics can we go?
6:22 in the morning. And we know this because we've had to shop for sushi at 6:22 in the morning before. At 6:22 in the morning, that's what you get.
Okay.
Right?
I think you're going to enjoy some
Makuni's not open.
Okay, let's get back to engagement. Yes. So I'm going to hold off on
So here's a question I have for you.
Yes.
Okay, as a well-versed wedding engagement photographer, and in case you're just starting out in the wedding business or want to get into it, here's my question is, what's the reason for doing an engagement shoot? Why? I mean, shoot the wedding, but why do an engagement shoot?
Good question. So for me, here's the number one reason that I want to do an engagement shoot, because it gives me time with my bride and groom. I get to know them. I see how they take direction. I get an idea of what kind of photos they're looking for, because doesn't it every bride today comes up to you and groom and goes, hey, I got this Pinterest board. These are the kind of images I want. that gives you a real good hint of the type of photography.
Yeah.
We really battle this whole idea of types of photography because we each have our own style.
Mm-hmm.
And as an artist, I don't want to do anything other than my style. You're hiring me to do my style. But you know what happens? I just took my wide wedding audience and just narrowed it.
Really?
Said, I'm only going to shoot my style. I have to be ready and willing and able to shoot what the bride wants.
So that's a great point, actually, because you're saying that we have a different style, but we work together 85% of the time on our wedding jobs. Sometimes I'll do one by myself. Sometimes you'll do one by yourself.
Yep.
But the thing is, we match and mirror who's ever the lead on that project. So sometimes I'm the lead. Sometimes Mark's the lead photographer. And I need to make sure that I match your style. You need to make sure that you match my style.
Exactly.
Because as you're blending these photos together,
oh, it looks weird.
it looks really weird if Mark's beautiful and airy and light, and I'm super saturated in color. So,
Correct.
And that's what we do. So we match each other. But you have to be ready if you're being an assistant to a photographer, or if you're shooting with assistants. You just have to make sure that you're on the same page.
And then there's how many times have we had that discussion where you've said to me, Mark, this bride likes those bright, airy, Instagram-y looking photos. So then you got to change your mindset and go, okay, I need to make sure everything has that feel to it. Because I want to make that bride happy. You want to make the bride happy.
So, I think getting back to that question, though,
yeah.
So again, the reason,
spending time with them, getting to know them. Again, it makes the wedding day that much more flawless. When you're in your contract, it even says you have to do the wedding, the engagement shoot, the bride and groom with you. So, any reason why you would do it apart from that?
For me, it's not just me getting to know the bride and groom, but it's for the bride and groom to get to know me, right? It works in the opposite way because, great example, we just did an engagement shoot together a few weeks ago. And this couple we had never met before, they were from out of state. They're both in the military.
Yep. Mom booked it all.
You
met with her.
And so it's always scary for me as a photographer. And you think it's scary for us, right? What do you think it's like on the other side?
Yeah.
They have no idea what these guys are going to be like. It's two balding white guys that are just, coming to take their picture.
Yep.
But man, we had a blast, right? And that engagement shoot sealed the deal. We already had the wedding book, but it sealed the deal of making sure that this day
they had the right photographers.
So, that's my reason is everybody, both sides, getting to know each other.
Okay. One other thing that a lot of people don't think about is another huge reason is the fact it's for future sessions, booking future things.
Yeah.
So it could be they get married. Guess what's going to happen? I might
First
get to
come
do
love,
then come marriage, then comes maternity shoots, and then it comes the babies, and then it becomes the dogs, and then it's the family.
Yeah, I want to be the photographer for life.
You
right?
do. So there's just so many opportunities. If you're in the photography business, it's a great business model to overproduce.
Yeah.
Over-deliver. Over-deliver. There we go. Overproduce. Over-deliver. And keep them as clients for life.
Yeah, I mean, the more chance you have in front of them, the better. And the thing that I like about the engagement shoots, and this was a great example from that one from a few weeks ago. It was totally relaxed and totally fun. Like I feel like that couple, from just meeting them for that first time, we could go out to dinner and have a great time with them. I mean,
exactly.
It's just like
so that's a great segue. So our whole idea today was talking about some tips for you as wedding photographers or aspiring wedding photographers, like how to approach an engagement session. And one of the main tips that we came up with, we talk about this all the time, is we want to create a story atmosphere, right? When we're shooting pictures.
Yeah, so it's not just the posed stand here and smile type pictures, but how do we create the story? But even before we do that, one thing I want to mention, before we ever start clicking the shutter, it's a conversation of life, right? Tell me how you guys met. And you might have already done that in the wedding consult to get the job, but you got to continue that conversation because if you immediately pull out your camera, you're going to get those where everybody's just totally stiff, right? So we want to make sure that we start that conversation.
Don't make the mistake I made as a when I first started doing wedding photography, and that was you might did a little small talk, but it instantly became, okay, stand here, pose this way, put your arm this way. And then the whole rest of the shoot, they're like, okay, pose me up. And there was no true smiles. It's like, smile, don't smile. Oh, and next, that's not what you want in an engagement.
So, you're talking about movement and story. I think that leads right into that because of, I need to find out what the story is going to be.
Yeah.
Because my idea of a story for them, remember what they look like versus what we thought they might look like, right? And I'm not talking about physical features. I'm talking about how they were dressed even. This couple, again, is in the military. We assume they'd be a little more buttoned up, very structured. He came in what?
Like Wranglers and some cowboy boots, and it was like, all right, I can hang out with this guy. But the pictures, we looked them up on social media, and the girl, beautiful blonde girl, and she's got all these great, when we're thinking, oh no, this could be potentially Bridezilla, or, just obviously
I thought she was going to be very nice.
Yeah. But anyways, it's just that whole thing of like suddenly go, oh, they're very outdoorsy.
Oh, it was great.
And so you instantly go, we have the right venue. Things like that.
So what we do is we always create movement, right?
Yeah.
So things like we were shooting at an estate that had a nice bridge that went over a little creek, right? Is to have them walking across the creek, just looking at each other and talking. And we're standing way in the background. We're shooting with long lenses, being able to create just that story of them doing that.
Exactly. And you just said it just right. I was just going to ask, is just to make sure it's clear for everybody. When we said create a story, sometimes we created a story. We said, walk on the other side of the bridge, and I think, Steve, you started going, it's a Saturday morning, and you guys are just walking out, enjoying yourself, and, you're looking at the birds. And so just walk across the bridge with that in mind. You gave them a story to act out.
Yeah, and it helped. It just made everything relaxed, and we did that through the whole day. There was something that you did, though, that I really have never done until I met you, and we started doing wedding stuff together.
What did I do now?
You had these 10 different looks, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
Here's a great tip. If you're a struggling, or maybe you're just looking to change things up a little bit, I find that this works every single time. You don't want to jump right into it. You got to get your timing right. But here's what you do. You take your couple and you go, here's what I want you couple to do is I'm going to count backwards, 10, 9, 8, all the way to 1. Every time I say a number, you two are going to just make the goofiest, craziest face at each other that you can.
It's a blast.
It is a blast. But here's what's going to happen. You're going to get scared. You're going to go 10, and they're going to look at you like, what? And you're going to go, come on, goofy face. 9, and then they're going to go, and then you're going to go 8, and the husband or the groom, he's going to go like, why are we doing this? And then she's going to do something crazy, and then they're both going to do something crazy.
Tell them what happened at this last one.
The last one we did, I hit like 4. She leaned over and she licked him right
all the way up,
all the way up his face. And after that, though, I got the greatest shots of them just laughing. This is something, it just loosens everybody up. But it's not to get the crazy photos. You're going to snap away. You're going to get them. They're going to love those crazy photos.
After the crazy.
It is just that he's wiping his face and smiling, and she's got that true smile.
Some of the faces.
You look at those pictures. I did a couple not too long ago, and if you look at the photos, it looks like they are just having the greatest moment of their life. You wouldn't know that, 5 seconds before, they were making goofy faces at each other. But it's just a way to get people off their game. How do you get them to laugh? And that's one of the, try it next time. I will promise you, you will take some amazing photos.
So here's a tip for everybody there. I actually, in our contract, in my contract, the engagement session is required. Right? And people are like, required?
Yeah.
And it's required because I want to make sure that we have such a good connection on wedding day.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the whole thing of, why do we do these things? Is I have to be able to work with these people before wedding day. Now, you can X that out of my contract if you want to, and I'll let them out of it. Sometimes it just doesn't work, right? If it's out of town, timing, we won't do it. But 99.9% of the time we do it, whether they want to or not. And once they get it done, it's just a joy. So that's
nice. So what other tips you got for us?
Just that natural versus pose. It goes back into this whole story thing, I think.
Yeah.
The engagement set. I hate engagement pictures that are
posed.
The posing, right?
Yeah.
I want to get as natural as I can, and I think we succeed on doing that. But it takes the rapport. It takes you talking to them before you're going to get that.
And that's not to say, again, I know it's easy for us to say we've done a lot of weddings and we've done a lot of engagement sessions. But if you're new to it, you've only done a few of them. It's scary. You go, what do I say to these people? Well, you may have to start posing them in the beginning.
It's almost as scary as the sushi.
Exactly.
We are not diving into this.
Not to the supermarket California roll. Just is not doing anything.
Sorry. I was looking at it thinking, do I want to take a bite? No.
Yeah. So again, you've got to find things that work for you. You know, the counting down from 10, try it one time. If it doesn't work for you,
don't use it if it doesn't work.
Don't use it.
Don't push it.
There's all kinds of methods.
When I talk about like pose versus natural, that's the same thing for photography. You have to be natural. You have to go with your personality. They hired you because of you.
Yeah.
They didn't hire you because the chopstick guys told you to be like us. It's just be who you are. If you're totally boring and have no personality, get out of the wedding business and go shoot landscapes because it ain't for you. You have to have some personality.
That's right.
And that I'm saying that actually in all seriousness. That was kind of a joke. But if you're watching this, and we hope you are, if you're just even not a wedding photographer, sometimes weddings and portraits are not your game. You need to shoot what actually works well for you.
Exactly.
If you struggle talking to people, if you struggle talking in front of a very large group.
But you do well with pets.
That's
Maybe you're missing your calling. So the next thing that I'm thinking of is a lot of people ask us this question is, okay, I've done the session. How do I get them their images? And again, we've talked about this before, so it's not anything new. But if you're new to our show, how do we get images?
So we use pretty much exclusively now. We use SmugMug.
Yes.
And we're not paid by them. We're not endorsed by them, but we endorse them just because they offer a product that is fantastic. In fact, they had some things we'll talk about in the photo news maybe.
That's right.
But we deliver everything digitally. There's a couple of reasons why we do that. It's because one, it saves you a ton of time as a photographer. It is fantastic for your client because you don't have to go see him again and hand him a thumb drive or a CD. If anybody's doing that, don't. But digital delivery, then what you can do is they can share these digital albums out with family and friends, and you can have a point where they can purchase. Now, these are included. I give them to my clients, but maybe Aunt Sally in New Jersey wants to say, I love the picture of Kendall. I want to get her picture.
Yep, there's a little button there that says order, and it is fulfilled by
one of two choices, Easy Prints or Bay Photo.
So you've got
fantastic.
Wow, you can get some great stuff.
And you make money off of every single thing you buy.
Correct.
Quite a bit of money, actually, if you price it right. So I think that's
they
the big
tip. They give you the ability to price them too.
Yeah.
So all kinds of good stuff.
I would, do that digital delivery. It's just so much easier and be quick delivering those pictures. But that's some of the big stuff.
All right. So get out there and start doing your engagement session. Start working hard at trying to up your game.
Hey, if there's other things that you know of or you think, hey, you guys should cover, share it with everybody in the comments below about engagement sessions. We'd love to hear you.
Yeah, and maybe something we'll cover in a new video coming up. So we actually are standalone videos. We will cover some of those topics. So let us know.
Welcome to Chopstick and Photo News.
Why are we doing this?
We just watched a viral video that had 4.6 million views of a lady singing karaoke with her husband waving chopsticks in the air.
Listening to
So
her
why
sing.
we wanted to do that, I have no
Make
clue.
sure you share this video because two guys are waving chopsticks while one sings karaoke.
But in all seriousness, we got some photo news. So you were in the last segment there. You were talking about SmugMug. Or I was talking about SmugMug. We were talking about.
We did. We talked about SmugMug.
So
where are you going with this?
We're going with that. The brand new news happened the other day. Is that SmugMug, which has been around since 2002. They're a pretty old company actually now. 2002 just acquired Flickr from Yahoo.
Yay!
So Yahoo owned Flickr after Flickr sold it to Yahoo, and Yahoo did absolutely nothing with it. Abandoned it. And you are one of the oldest Flickr users. No, you're one of the the oldest people I know. One of the longest time Flickr users. How can I say that? You've had the most duration of Flickr than anybody.
I've just been on Flickr for a long time.
There you go. Thank you.
There you
so,
go.
Anyways, with that, what do you think about SmugMug, who I adore and love as a company? I think the guys are great that own it, the McCaskill family.
I'm excited because you know that I still use Flickr. I love Flickr. You
and 7 people love
That's
Flickr.
right. And we got together the other day and talked about what we thought of the 7 of us. No, I think that it still has the best compression algorithm because you put a picture on Flickr, it looks identical to what it was on your computer, where, Facebook, Instagram, you can lose color, all kinds of things. But I think it's great because I like SmugMug because if they're family owned, but they're into photography. It's wow, photographers own Flickr. So I at least go, there's hope that this is going to stick around.
Yeah. So, I mean, from everything I've read, they are going to run the companies as two separate entities, which is great, too. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? They might totally meld into one. But I'm totally excited because I think SmugMug knows what it's doing in software. The stuff works and works incredibly well, and unlimited bandwidth, all this kind of stuff. So that's great. But Flickr, under Yahoo, knew nothing of what they were doing. They abandoned the product. So you bring what Flickr had technical-wise. They had very good compression. They had actually a pretty nice interface. The thing worked well. Like, if you bring that in the SmugMug family, and they could take some of that.
Yep. I think what went wrong is Yahoo thought they were going to create a new social platform. They suddenly went like, "Ooh, we're going to make this so it can be shared and you can comment this way." It was like, it's not going to happen. That's too much work. Flickr was for photography, and that's what it should remain. And it looks like that's what's going to happen again. But I think the main reason they're purchasing it, though, really, I think it's a good business decision. Because now, the 100 people that are still on Flickr can potentially be sold into getting into SmugMug, their paid service. Yeah. So there's a paid service if you want for Flickr.
Do you pay for Flickr?
I do pay for Flickr.
Why?
Because I have over, I think, close to 15,000 images.
If you stop paying, what happens to those images before?
I believe my account goes away. Yeah.
So that's the cool thing about SmugMug is that if you decide no more SmugMug, you can actually get every picture back. They'll deliver the whole to you.
Exactly. And they may do that with Flickr. I've never quit it. I've been using it. I pay yearly. So yeah, it is something. So also in the world of softwares, since we're talking about SmugMug and things, Adobe did kind of got to choose your words properly or wisely here. They just did it.
Oops, they did it again.
Yeah, oops, there we go. They did a oops, I did it again thing. And what was that?
They put out a new update to Lightroom that messed up metadata for hundreds of thousands of people.
I'm not a Lightroom user, you know that. But let me see if I can explain this. So somebody decided it was a good idea to take Lightroom, make a new Lightroom that really wasn't Lightroom, call it Classic Lightroom, but change the Classic to New Lightroom and the new Lightroom back to... I don't even know, like...
But then they've updated it a couple times since they did that whole naming snafu. Good marketing.
Yeah.
But so they put out this latest update to install the LUTs, right, which are the camera profiles and all the profiles. So, which I think are fantastic. Right? I had no problem with this update from Lightroom, but a lot of my photo friends were like blowing up my text machine.
My metadata's gone. It's all changed.
My email machine. They're blowing that up, and they're like, doesn't work. Can you address that? So they just put out another update that supposedly fixed all, but they screwed up again. Now, with that to say, it is making people very, very wary of these Adobe products and the updates. People want to jump ship, and it's really sad because Adobe makes good products, right? It's good stuff.
I'm not ready to jump ship.
But they keep screwing up. In the last 2 years, they've screwed up more than I care to even count. So people are saying, Chopstick guys, is there an alternative to
we have heard
Lightroom in particular?
We have heard tons of alternatives. People are going, there's Alien Skin, there's On One, but I tell you what, there is one that is doing a tremendous amount of marketing and a tremendous. They're everywhere right now, and that's Luminar
by Skyloom.
Yeah, by Skyloom. So
we in fact we just started using it. We're a little late on jumping on this bandwagon, but we just started using it this week as a test. And I got to tell you, from what I've seen so far, there's a few quirks that we're going to cover shortly that maybe we just need to figure out how to use it. But
exactly,
so far,
I'm not ready to give up my workflow.
What do you think of those files? Like, we compared them between Adobe product, and
I will tell you, you can go and try Luminar for free for 30 days or something, or 10, 20 days. But we opened up Luminar. We looked at Lightroom. We looked at Luminar side by side, and I got to tell you, Luminar looked a lot better. And you say, how does it look better? The colors looked natural. The colors in skin tones were off in Lightroom. We had to do a lot of work where we didn't have to do any work on Luminar in their settings.
All that to say is keep your eyes out for Skyloom software and Luminar, I think.
Exactly. And I'll be doing more of an in-depth
which was started by the people that worked on the original Nick product, right?
Correct.
So
And you know how much we
love
Nick.
that, which brings us up to something that's very scary.
Do you remember our show about 2 months ago where like we wanted to throw a party? Woohoo! They got bought by DxO, and it's going to be wonderful. And then guess what happened this week?
DxO went into Chapter 11 bankruptcy. DxO Labs. There's two different DxO.
Correct. DxO is not the DxO that rates lenses and all kinds of equipment.
This is DxO Labs, which makes their DxO camera software for RAW files and now Nick.
But they declared bankruptcy.
Like the panic that struck, again, when I talk about like our emails and text blowing up, the panic that went into people's minds about DxO.
Yep. We talked to somebody this week that said, I've been playing around with Luminar because she said, I don't even want to use Nick anymore because I know that it's going to go away. So I just want to get away from it totally.
So just this morning, I read the press release from DxO, and they said, do not worry that this is just a restructuring process, not necessarily a financial issue. Let's hope that's great news. And that it will not have any effect on the customers. And in fact, they said, this is the good news, or the bad news, good news. They said they're coming out with the next version of Nick software suite.
Which it's been a few years since we've had an update to Nick. So
hopefully everything's good. I still use Nick all the time. I love it. They have some of the best processing software out there. Hopefully everything's good. But it is a little scary when that's part of your major workflow.
All right.
So that is it for this week.
I think we should leave and get some real sushi. I think this will be nice.
So I wasted my $2.99
exactly. Because I think I might grab some of the salmon when we're done. But
so guys, this show is a little longer than usual probably, but thanks for sticking with us. We are going to be on kind of this wedding kick for the next few shows. And it's not just if you're a wedding photographer or a wannabe wedding photographer. It's for everybody. We've got some great tips, especially the next two coming up.
Yeah, and if there's anything you want us to cover while we're in this wedding season, let us know in the comments below if you have questions for us. We answer all of the questions that are asked us, and we love communicating with you.
And if you've gotten this far in this show, we hope you're a subscriber. If you're not, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Also, ring the bell up at the top. When we say ring the bell, do they even know what we're talking about?
There's a little bell.
There's a little bell, right?
I think it's right above me.
Somewhere up there. So, if you're watching this full screen, you have to minimize it again because the bell will not be there if you're watching it full screen. But if you ring that bell or click on the bell, that actually is the notification symbol that allows you to be notified every time we put up something new.
That's right.
And we love to share this information with you. So please, like and subscribe. It means a lot to us. Tell your friends to like and subscribe. It'll mean a lot to them.
That's right. And hey, don't forget,
say sushi.
Sushi.
Until next time.